Or no do, whatever you say it.
How do?
How do?
Tony Wilson.
Yes.
Continuing his life story. We're going to get a quick hour episode in, aren't we?
We are.
A lot of people new to the channel. If you haven't met Tony, in the description and in the pinned comment, I put links to everything else I've done with him. We've done 20 questions, and have we done a couple of parts?
We've done 2 parts, yeah, up to now. This is part 3.
So, yeah, crack on, mate. Away we go.
Well, I think we finished
Let me get comfy.
In 1986 when I got out of a jail. And that's when, well, for the first 2 years after I got out of jail, things were going okay. I had a job. I got a job at a bakery. And then,
how did you get a job after getting out of jail? Was it difficult?
No, well, I went to my old dad's works where he worked for most of his time. He was a foreman.
Yeah.
And I got a job. It were nights, 12-hour nights, 6 nights a week, 76 hours a week, and I loved it. I went bed at 6:30 because it took me about half an hour to get home.
Yeah.
I didn't get up until 5:15. Went to work, went back, and I saved up like £2,000, and that was a lot of money in them days.
Was it like prison then, all work and no play?
It was good, yeah, it was good. I didn't really have time to play. And then this bloody idiot, right, caused trouble in the canteen, staying in the canteen too long, because we were working on the ovens. You got a 40-minute, every 40 minutes you got a 20-minute break.
Is that because it's hot?
Yeah, and he left me on there 2 hours. And management won't do now. So as soon as he turned up, I just dropped dead on him.
Did you?
We were both in front of that boss and he's crying, please don't sack me, I've got a mortgage. And I said, do your worst, I don't give a shit. Anyway, they sacked us both. So I thought, well, tough. Yeah, my dad weren't happy, but anyway, I got another job not long after that. But 87, scaffolding, junior scaffolder. But it was only supposed to be part-time. For one specific job which they had in Wythenshawe.
Yeah.
So I went doing that. Anyway, I loved it, that job. It was my favourite job of all time, you know, running up and down scaffolding.
Yeah.
At the side of old mills, putting them up. 96 feet high I went once.
Ooh.
I loved it. And I was there 9 months. And during that time there, I used the money that I had to take my test, my driving lessons.
Yep.
So I had about 30 driving lessons, took my test, passed first time. So I was happy at that. Anyway, then I started dabbling in drugs. Bit of pot, bit of acid, mushrooms, that sort of thing.
Taking it?
Taking it, yeah. Well, you've got to take it to have it.
No, what?
You can't not have it.
You know what I mean, you know what, yeah.
Yeah, taking it. And then...
Why? Was it just...
It was just everyone else who I knew were doing it. And I didn't really see the pitfalls. But that wasn't the problem. This lad was taking it on methadone. And I had a little bit of that. And it whacked my head out. And I liked it. I thought, oh, that's...
Was he on a script on out then?
Yeah, and he didn't tell me the pitfalls of what it would do to you.
So for those that you don't know, not all favourite drugs, methadone is a heroin substitute. It got introduced into prisons instead of doing an old-fashioned rattle,
which I did in 2005.
Yeah, about 2.5 it come into private sector, and then public sector was it about 2.10?
I don't know. I just know it weren't when I was there.
Yeah,
I ended up there doing my life sentence, but
so it's basically an heroin substitute.
Yeah, and it was strong, and I only had about 5 mil, and I was whacked. So I kept mithering him for more and more, and then one day when he couldn't provide it, I was like rattling, and I didn't know what it was, so I was running around like a headless chicken wondering why I felt so ill.
Were you still quite young then?
Well, it was 80, 87, 88.
So still in your 20s, late 20s.
Yeah. So then I started getting heroin. And dabbling in that.
Smoking?
Smoking it at first, yeah. But I had to keep going miles to get it to Moss Side because there was no dealers in Samworth then. Nobody dealt heroin then in them days.
Yeah.
You had to go to Moss Side to get it.
Do you remember the first time you went to Moss Side?
Yeah, it was scary. But I went to Gooch Close. And they just serve you, you go on your way, no problem. Then you get on the bus back home. It's about an hour and a half there, round trip. It's a mission and a half, put it that way.
Yep.
But you got nice deals, and I used to have to go every day. But then other people were starting getting on it, and I started to realise quite quickly, if I go to Moss Side and buy a weight,
Yep.
I can chop it up myself, sell it to everybody, and then make my day's supply for nothing. So that's what I did. And I did quite well out of that for a bit. And then I met this girl at a nightclub, my son's mother.
Yep.
Got her pregnant, so within 6 months I thought about as well do the right thing, even though I shouldn't have, because it was for the wrong reasons. I moved in with her. But I still had all these drugs on me, you know, on my mind, and I had to still sort myself out. So I was wheeling and dealing without her knowing, providing her with money, which was keeping her happy, plus feeding my habit.
Did she not ask where the money was coming from, or?
No, I just said, better you not know. She weren't asked, yeah. She was when she found out in the end 4 years later.
Yeah.
I kept it secret from her for 4 years.
How do you keep heroin addiction secret from someone?
Well, I got put on a meth script, so she knew I was on methadone.
Yeah.
So I was using that as why I was.
How difficult was it to get put on a script?
It was not easy. It was easy. Sorry, not easy. It was easy.
Literally, you go to doctors.
You go to your doctors. They refer you to somewhere in Bolton. It was. I had to go every 2 weeks, do a piss test, prove that I had heroin in my system. They put me on a script, and I stayed on that script until 2005.
Wow.
Yeah. I was on it every day. Till 2005, until I got my IPP sentence in 2005.
So
and I was
did
on
you
70 mils a day then?
Did you use anything besides the methadone script? Do you want window down?
Yeah, please, sorry. I used the methadone script in substitute for if they couldn't get any gear straight away.
Did you not have to take it at the doctors?
No, I
brought
got
it
mine
away with
weekly.
you?
Yeah, I got mine weekly.
They give it you to come away?
Yeah.
They don't do that now, do they?
All right with that. I didn't abuse it. I never said I didn't get it. I never said I spilt it. I never said I broke it. I never took the piss.
So that?
Yeah.
And on the days you couldn't, you'd use the methadone?
Well, I always got, but yeah, I used to sell the methadone as well sometimes, or give it away to people who were desperate. I'd give it to girls a lot, you know, if I felt sorry for them and I thought, here, go on, fuck off, rather than them say, yo,
give it to
anything.
addicts?
Yeah, right, because they'd be offering you to do anything, and I weren't.
For no money, sexual favours for you
drugs.
give them your
I'd give them
methadone
the
so that they
methadone
didn't have to.
so they didn't have to do
It's
that.
a terrible, vicious.
When I've been rattling at my worst, I'd be fucking thinking about sucking a cock.
Oh, Tony, come on. Really?
Joking, no. But I know lads who have. Yeah, I know lads who have. No, I was joking. But it gets that bad that you'll do anything. You get that desperate, you'll do anything. I was lucky and I was in a good position where I only needed to scrape 60, 70, 80 quid together, and I could get a quite a big lot for that, chop it all up, sell it, and get double my money. And I was doubling my money every day, and sometimes I was getting 300 quid worth a day and doubling my money. So I was doing okay out of it, but a lot of people depended on me scoring because they didn't want to travel to Moss Side every day either.
Yeah.
But over the years that I was doing it, more and more people were becoming addicts in my area.
Why do you think that is, Tony?
Well, it was getting easier and easier to get hold of. I'm not blaming me for that.
No,
because they would have gone elsewhere anyway.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, why?
Well, because it was becoming more and more. I don't know if the prisons made it worse when they started piss tests.
Yeah.
I know that.
Well, briefly what they did, didn't they? They made it so that governors could give you more time in prison if you got a positive piss test for drugs like cannabis.
And cannabis stays in your system for fucking a month.
Yeah, at least.
And they'll give you the same amount for a smoke of cannabis as they would for gear. And gear, you can get out your system in 3 days. 2 if you drink loads of water.
Watering up, don't they?
Yeah, I watered up a few times.
So, do you think anybody ever uses heroin as like a social drug, like coke?
No. No.
Do you think
You use heroin out of necessity. Yeah, at the beginning, for the first few weeks, it's pleasurable, it's for pleasure. But once you become addicted to it, your only thought from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to sleep is, where's my next fix coming from? And I used to always make sure I had enough to sort myself out in the morning and enough before I went bed, and always make sure I had something for the morning. That was a given. And I'd hide it outside. I caught one lad trying to search for it and I battered him round the camp. He's trying to find my stash.
how long after a hit would you like start to get desperate?
Well, I wouldn't say desperate, greedy. I was in the end I was injecting, so I was injecting 6 times a day, me. Morning, mid-morning,
Is that
dinner time, mid-afternoon, night time and bed. Yeah, 6 times a day, and quite a lot as well. Keith will tell you that. They used to fight over my spoon. They used to think my spoon were better than buying a £15 heel.
so? When you've got heroin,
Yeah.
do you just put it with water?
No, you put citric with it, citric acid.
Citric acid on a spoon,
With
eat
the
it up,
filter, eat it up, burn it.
draw that up
Yeah,
into
but
your
I used to
syringe
put a
and then-
couple of crack deals with it as well.
Wow. Did you get a massive high off that
Yeah,
every time?
every time. Yeah, but after a bit, you just
Do
feel
you have
normal.
to increase it?
You have to increase it, and in the end, my habit was massive. My habit was massive, and it was becoming unsustainable because I was getting older as well, and there was people coming through my doors, dangerous people. Yeah.
When you say coming through your doors, you're not on about you're letting them in, are you?
No, they're booting the door in and trying to catch me off guard. I fought a couple of times, I fought them off. One time I didn't, and I got hurt badly, hit on head 5 times with an hammer. Still
Ooh.
fighting. My brother got his hand slashed with a machete. I got that cunt back all 9 years later. I didn't see him for 9 years, and then he come on landing in Strangeways Unlocked. Alright Tony, how you doing? Last time I saw him, he was coming through my fucking door. So I
Oh.
just battered him. He got IPP in the end as well, and I saw my son a few years later, and he said, oh, he's been speaking to that guy and he don't want any trouble. I said, look, I got him back. Tell him to stay away from me, I don't want to even see him. If he sees me, to head in the opposite direction, because I will headbutt.
So were people coming through door for your stash or
Yeah,
the money or
yeah,
both?
both. Whatever they could get.
It become very popular, that, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, but I had a plan. I had two stashes. One where I kept fake money that I bought for a few quid, and it was fake. Yeah, it was forged money, and a couple of bags of gear. So I'd have that in a specific place. And if they come through my door, that's what they were getting pointed to. So they'd be off then, but
Yeah.
it never happened. They got a little bit the first time when they'd slashed my brother, but they didn't get everything. The next day I was at it up and at it again, and he ended up getting 20 years for murder, one of them. The other one ended up getting IPP years later, and I've never seen any of them since. Then I moved to Wythenshawe. Still heroin addicts, me and my brother. But I got into a different drug called amphetamine, speed. And that was a killer. I was killing it on that. I was buying 4.5 ounces, selling it in tenner deals. So I was making £2,800 out of 400 quid, 500 quid every week.
It's a lot of bread, and what were you spending the bread on?
Women and drugs.
Really?
Yeah, women and drugs. And I did that for about 5 years. I'm living in Wythenshawe, Bench
Is that
Hill.
so? Your day was basically a normal day was taking drugs. You know, when you say women, do you mean ladies of the night?
No, single mothers who were struggling.
Yeah.
And what it was, they were getting into debt with me, and I'm a sucker for a pretty face, yeah, so I was letting them owe me hundreds of pounds, and then after a bit I said to one who was she was beautiful. She used a little bit of amphetamine. She had kids, but she didn't have a boyfriend. She owed me about 230 quid. And I said, look, you're taking the piss now. I said, you're never going to be able to pay this money back. You're just going to keep asking and keep asking. I said, I'll tell you what though, I fancy you, I always have, you know I have. I said, I'll tell you what, let's come to some arrangement where mutually beneficial. She said, what do you mean? I said, friends with benefits. I said, you benefit me, I benefit you. If you say no, that's fine, I'll sort it out, but she said, oh, don't be daft, it'll spoil it. I said, oh, have a think about it. So I sorted her out, she went away. Next day she rung me up, did you mean what you said? And I said, yeah. She said, can I get a taxi down? I said, yeah, that was 15 quid. I said, yeah. So she came down, we had a good session, I enjoyed it, she enjoyed it, sorted her out, paid for a taxi home, another 15 quid. And twice a week she'd ring me up, can I come down? I said, yeah. But because it worked with her, all the other girls that owed me money, I put them to them. And it worked with them. So I had about 600 fucking crossing on the stairs.
Really?
Yeah. No, none of them knew about each other because they all said the same thing, and I did too. Keep it stum. Anyone finds out, and I'm out, you're done.
Yeah.
So that was that. But in the end, I couldn't keep up. But it was the amphetamine. It was just making me rampant. But I became a sex addict because of that. Because of my addictive personality.
Yeah.
I got a sex addiction. I was banging anything that moved. And that was how it was. And I always made sure they had food for the kids as well. And all the kids loved me. Because I'd take this girl's kids to shop. And I'd just go on. Give them free rein at shop. They never took the piss. You know, they'd all get... I said, get whatever you want. They'd get whatever they wanted, and I'd go pay. And they'd all be saying, when's Tony coming?
Well, you know what? I suppose that's no bad thing, is it? And I suppose a lot of people sort of do what they need to do to get by or whatever, don't they?
Yeah, I was just sick that they were all taking the piss, really. And I thought, well, I switched it round so that they was helping me and I was helping them.
Yeah.
But it didn't seem dirty. It didn't seem wrong or dirty because they were all single. If they had boyfriends, I didn't want to know.
Yeah.
You know, there were single mothers who didn't have boyfriends, who didn't want a relationship, didn't want to deal with a man. And I didn't want a woman. Well, I did, but not in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be responsible. So I did that for years. I've still got a girl now, friends with benefits. Yeah. We see each other, I sort her out, she sorts me out, and then we part the waves until she rings me.
Well, you know, that's probably a good thing, is it not? It's better than sort of being, you know, I suppose there's lots of people in relationships that don't work, stuck in relationships.
You're not privy to this information, I'm afraid. Sorry about that, but sorry about this. I will be as fast as possible.
Don't worry, mate.
That's the ex-wife. I've not got round to her yet. That was a disaster. That was when I fell off me out the shower, there she did.
There you go. A marriage of convenience without being married, eh?
Yes, very nice one. Very nice one. She's a pain in the arse at times, but I manage it.
There you go. There's no wrong with that, mate. Like I say, it can be a relationship that's not working or
it's
whatever.
the friends with benefits, you know. I get the benefit of time with her and she gets the benefit of I sort her out when I can, cash. Not for drugs.
Yeah.
No, it's nothing to do with drugs. Drugs aren't a thing now.
No, I ain't got a problem with that at all, mate. You know, drugs now for you, is it not even a question?
No.
And how long did it take you know, from a detox or whatever, to get in your life when drugs have been a big part of it, to not have that?
Well, in 2000, I decided I'd had enough. So me and my brother ended up moving. I moved into a rehab. Peter moved into a bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
And I was in that rehab 21 months, but I couldn't get my own place. So I was getting frustrated and losing interest. So Peter got his own flat by then, after spending 18 months in a bed and breakfast. That was horrendous. But I only lived over the road from me, so that was handy. He was still using at the time. So I ended up lapsing and got kicked out, so we moved into the flat and we became gyro junkies, basically. Just using when we got paid.
Junkies, yeah.
Yeah, just using when we got paid and living on the methadone in between. But that was horrendous as well. So anyway, starting to get in trouble off this guy upstairs. He was becoming a nuisance neighbour, you know, one of them neighbours from hell.
Yep.
And I just kept saying to Pete, I'm going to end up doing him in, he's a prick. But I wouldn't go to his door and confront him. We used to shout at each other through the ceiling. And he'd whip cables on the floor at 5 in the morning, and I'd jump out my skin and start shouting. And then I was talking to a friend and I said, I know I'm going to go to jail for him, but it'll be a good thing because I need to get off this fucking shit. It's doing me in. Anyway, one day he brought loads of alcohol, this guy, to flat, so we started drinking. Now alcohol and me don't mix, especially spirits. Every time I've had spirits, I've ended up hurting somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, next thing, bearing in mind this has been going on for 2 years with this neighbour.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd had enough. So I hears a knock on the door. I opened the spy hole, looked and saw him stood there. And he was a big guy, you know. And I was older them days, yes, not quite as the guy I was, and I was a bit like, you know, so I thought, it's alright, I'll even the odds. So I looked through his spy hole and hairs on the back of my neck stood up, and I was up for this. I said, hang on mate, I'll wait there, I've been waiting for you. Went in the kitchen and got a meat cleaver. Went back out, opened the door, and I said, you take the piss, you. And I just hit him on the head with it. He went to the floor on his knees. And he grabbed my hand and I said, if you don't let go of my hand, I'll hack yours off. And Judge didn't like that. So, anyway, that happened. Police come. They arrested me. And I went to prison.
Have you ever gone guilty? Did you go guilty?
Yeah, I've always pleaded guilty. I've only ever gone not guilty once, and I got found not guilty. Because my defence said, well, how come you pleaded guilty to all these serious offences and you've got this poxy theft of a handbag in a nightclub and you're pleading not guilty? I said, because I didn't do it. That handbag was in that bog before I went in it. End of. And they believed me, so I got found not guilty for that. That's the only time I've ever pleaded not guilty. All my other offences I plead guilty for. Take it on the chin. Innit? That's what you do. So I did. So anyway, I went to court, pleaded guilty. There were no, but it was the 1st of May 2005, and IPP came out April 2005. The 4th of April 2005. I got arrested on the 1st of May 2005. So IPP was already out. I was one of the first ones to get it.
So IPP sentence was for people, or it was supposed to be for people who didn't fit the lifer criteria, however, were a risk or a danger or serious offences. It was for nonces,
basically, right? Really. It was for sex offenders and serious sex offenders. All right, violent offenders too, which maybe I did deserve it, yeah? I'm not saying I didn't. But what I didn't deserve is to be 5 years over tariff when I didn't do anything in the jail system to warrant that. But that was because I was waiting for places. So I had to do 4 years in Strangeways. So I got the sentence. And I was one of the first. Like I said, I never met any IPP prisoner with a date before mine. All the time I did. Yeah. Yeah, I never. I've been on it, what, 17 years now. I did 8 years, 2 months, and I've been 9 years on licence. Yep. Next year I'm up for get it squashed, the licence. So hopefully that'll go my way. So basically, I gets into jail, gets into Strangeways, lands on I-wing because I'm an heroin addict.
Yep.
So
Detox wing.
This is my first like trial. Yeah. So I did my 6-week rattle. It was horrendous. Yeah. I was rocking. It felt like I'd had the flu, which was 50 times million worse than the flu. People had ripped my arms out and hit me over the soggy end of it, like just.
Did you have DF118?
They give me whatever they give me didn't work. Put it that way. I did me rattle.
Is Train Spot in the film? Is that? No.
I didn't really hallucinate. It was just bad pain and shakes, and you knew all you needed was a line of gear and you'd be right. And people were offering it me. I said, "No, I'm not interested. Not interested."
So on the detox wing, there's heroin knocking about, and of course there is.
People who I
know
knew,
that.
people who I knew were offering it me for free. I didn't even have to pay them back. I said no. Anyway, I did my rattle, went on to H wing then, and then I got sentenced. They were all shocked on that one because they were only petty criminals, really.
Yeah, they were. A lot of the people on the detox wing, aren't they? In H wing, where they move after, it's 3 to 6 months.
Yeah,
no big sentences.
And I got a life sentence, and they were shocked when I come back from court. What do you get? Life. What? Yeah, with a 3-year, 2-month tariff. My barrister said, "Oh, you'll be out after 3-year, 2 months." What a prick he was. Fucking 8-year, 2 month I was in. So anyway, it gets into Strangeways. Then they put me on. Is it the bottom jail?
Yep.
I went
bottom
on
jail.
to B wing, or the drug-free wing. Now, you might disagree with this because I have heard you comment that you don't think the drug-free wing's drug-free.
Yeah.
It's drug-free if you want it to be drug-free.
Right.
It's not as prolific as, say, if you went on D wing.
Yeah.
Yeah. D wing is run free and do what you want.
Yeah.
The screws don't care, do they?
No.
They just leave you to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But it was the over 50s as well and the drug-free wing, so I had a quiet life on there. But I was on there 18 months, and in the end, it was becoming a bit over familiar sort of thing, and I was trying to have a laugh with the screws, but it was becoming a bit.
Yeah.
And I was sort of needing a move, so I moved to A wing. Is it outer?
Yeah.
Because the inner was the BPs.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, the inner was the BPs, so I'm on the outer, and I got a cleaning job, and I was there quite a while. I did that, and the female officer was brilliant. She knew I knew my job because I'd spent 2 years in the workshop with Josie.
With Josie, yeah.
Yeah, doing me industrial cleaning, all aspects of industrial cleaning. I did my teacher trainer. I did everything, you name it, about industrial cleaning. I can do it.
Josie, tell him Josie.
She's about 5 foot nothing or 4 foot nothing.
Jockey weight, no weight on her.
No, but you just respected her.
Yeah.
And no one would mess with you. I nearly swore them. No one would mess with Josie because you just don't. Yeah. I don't even remember anyone else. All I remember is all the lads who were coming over for the training for the cleaners was trying to give them a squeeze. If they did a good enough job, yeah. One lad dropped his plug in the bucket and then tried to plug it in the wall and expected me to give him a squeeze. I said, "No, mate, that's dangerous. You can't be doing that. You can't do that. It's dangerous."
Industrial cleaning. I used to love going in that shop, me and chatting, and
I was always in there.
Nobody messed about in there though, did they? They
No,
got on with
I got
it.
on with my job, and you were allowed to smoke them days, so it weren't too bad. You could have a fag, I don't smoke nowadays. But yeah, so I did my time in Strange, and then I get psychiatrists or psychologists on my case then, doing all these psychopathy reports. Oh, you're a violent offender.
Is that because you're an IPP?
Yeah, and I'm a violent offender, and I've got history of violent offending. I had 18 previous convictions of some form of violence, be it assault, wounding, stabbings, attacks, whatever. And this was an horrific one, really, because I hit the guy in the head with a meat cleaver. So it was bad. So they said I needed to address me offender behaviour. So I agreed. I said, fair enough. But they said, you're going to have to wait to go to Channings Wood, because that's the only jail. And they called it Cannabis Wood back in the day.
Yep.
But it weren't like that when I was there. There were drugs, but you had to go on the different wings for that. I went on the drug-free wing again. stayed on there, and it was drug-free practically, and any drugs that did seem to appear soon got dealt with.
What did you go there for?
To do the cognitive self-change program. It was a 2-year program.
Yep.
You was in class from 9 o'clock till 3:30 every day, 5 days a week for 2 years.
Did it address, and I don't mean what they did, for you, did it give you...
It gave me the key skills to use what I use now, where when I get into a situation, I can talk my way out of it or walk my way out.
So
I don't, literally, my brain doesn't go to where it used to go to, fight or flight. Mine would be straight in there, fight.
Yep.
I think now. My
So
brain
did it change you
changed.
then? Did it work?
It did work, yeah, because they're constantly giving you these skills. And you're constantly using them in the jail. You know when you get divvies all around you?
Yep.
When you think, usually you just give them a slap. Or you take them wherever and have a fight. That I couldn't do. So, I still got angry. And I still felt like doing them in.
Yeah.
But, the way they make your brain work now, instead of... Right, first of all, there's an action. Somebody will do something that creates a thought or a feeling in your head. That feeling creates a thought, and then you think that cunt's taking the piss. Right, next thought, do him in. So you've got to change all them thoughts. I had faulty thoughts. Yeah, an action had happened, something had happened, and then I'd straight away think they're taking the piss. So I need to act to show them not to take the piss, or I'll do them in. So I had to change all that. Not everyone who does something is taking the piss. They are what they are.
Well, just things wind you up and that, don't they? And you know,
well, I used to get wound up dead easy, but it's not just a case of wound up. It was a case of I had to fight my ground because I was in a dangerous game. So I had to put on a persona that if you fuck, I'm going to fuck back harder, and that comes with problems.
Do you think the threat of violence and things like that? Most people are just terrified, aren't they?
Well, I don't know. I mean, if you was attacked, you'd fight back, wouldn't you? If you had to.
Yeah.
You'd have to.
Yeah.
And that's how I probably still would, but I'd try my best to walk away. Now, things don't get me as angry as they used to.
Yeah.
I don't get angry as easy. So anyway, I did the 2-year course. Did my time in Chinese Wood, which was, for a jail, pleasurable. It was okay. Cleaner all the time I was on there. #1 cleaner, which I loved. I had my own key to my own cupboard with all the stuff. So I was alright. No air fresheners, tissues, you name it, I had it. But I didn't take the piss. Everyone got what they were entitled to. And yeah, my friends, they'd get a bit extra.
Yeah.
You know, standard, innit? You know, servery lot. I sort them out, they sort me an extra pudding or whatever. You know, that's the way it goes. You know, you're not going to be given a job and not have the odd perk. You know, and the cleaning officers, I did all the orders for what stuff we wanted, so I knew what we needed.
Well, having done that job, you know, if you get a good lad who's going to make your life easier like that, ordering stuff and checking stock and keeping everything in order, of course you're going to give him a squeeze. You know, it makes your job. People never understand that, I don't think.
As long as you don't take the piss and give everyone 10 items.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly, yeah.
But if you got the odd air freshener, you know, and stuff like that, and they got an extra, well, toilet rolls, I didn't class as extra. You know, if they need a shit, they need a shit.
I've always said that. You know, we had a cleaning officer. They used to get a toilet roll on Sundays when he did kit change, yeah. I've seen people come down, you know, can I have a toilet roll, boss, Sunday? And it'd be true. I'm thinking, do you know what I mean? So I'd hand them out when it's a necessity.
As and when you need, yeah. Well, you get them now as and when you need, don't you?
Yeah.
Because you have them every day, don't you?
So you should.
Yeah, you should. For toilet roll, yeah. But back in the day when I was padded up with 3 in a cell, I had a rule: no shitting in the bucket. Yeah, if you shit in the bucket, it goes over your head. That was my rule. So we got the. I said them bomb heads have got to keep. You know, you've got to keep the fucking shit brigade happy in the morning. If they've no shit to shovel, they will have no job. They won't get the baccy.
Yeah.
So we'd have sheets. You'd cut a sheet
The paper.
No, a sheet. The green
Oh,
sheet.
a sheet, yeah. Prison.
Yeah, you'd damage one of them. You'd cut that up, squat down, poo on your sheet, tie it up, throw it through the window.
Shit parcels.
Shit parcel. And that was it. And that's the only rule I had. There were two guys once. I moved in with them. They thought they were going to get me sweeping the cell out. So, is that what you reckon? Yeah, you're the last one in, you're cleaning the cell out. I said, okay. One of them went out on a visit. As soon as I heard the door go, I got up. I said, right, stand up, mate, I've got to clean. He stood up and I just battered him. And I said, and when your mate comes, he's getting it. He was on his bed. I said, if you stand up when that door opens, you're getting it again. So he didn't stand up anyway. The door opened, I got up. Door opened, the lad walked in, shut the door behind him. I battered him as well. I said, you two clean up from now on. I'm doing nothing.
Is that the law of the jungle, as it were?
Well, they took the piss. If they'd have said we take turns, I'd have said fair enough. But they try to make me the Joey.
Yeah, you're not.
Big mistake.
Yeah.
Big mistake. Yeah, so I had a single cell anyway in the end at Channings Wood. I shared a cell in Strangeways for 4 years, but I chose who I had with me. I was alert.
Was you a high risk?
High risk of what?
High risk cell. Quite often.
No, because I couldn't afford to be. Because if I was classed as high risk, then they would say I've not addressed my offending behaviour.
Right.
So I always had a pad mate. But if I said to the cleaning officer, boss, get rid of him, they would. I was in with the same guy for 12 months in Strangeways. 12 months I was.
Well, that's no bad thing as well, is it?
And he ended up getting released or moved. Sorry, I won't be a sec.
No, you're all right. See, the whole cell thing, really, you try and keep people, cleaners you'll put in with people. And
they were fighting to get in with me because I always had backy. I used to buy 4 packs a week.
Popular guy.
So I always, even in queue for get your next week's canteen, I had a fag in my gob. And then I decided to give in 2008 because I was told I had lung disease. COPD.
Yep.
So I said, right, that's it, I'm giving up. So 5 of us, they said, yeah, you give up, you've always got a fag in your mouth. I said, listen, I'll be the last man standing, I'll tell you. Anyway, we went on the patches. And I used to leave it on overnight, and everyone else used to dream and they couldn't handle the nightmares, but for some reason I don't remember my dreams, so I never dreamt, so I didn't get that. I think it's because of an head injury, I don't know, but I don't dream, or I don't remember my dreams. Anyway, 9 weeks went, I took the last patch off, I said, that's it, I don't smoke anymore. And then I became dead anti-smoking then, because I could smell it and it was horrible. I wouldn't let no one smoke in my pad. If they weren't a non-smoker, they couldn't come in. If they were smoking outside my cell on the ones, I'd be kicking them away from me.
So when the no smoking coming in jail, right? So
I don't know that because it was smoking right up until I left.
I know why they did it. Obviously, there's concerns about people going in cells and passive smoking and all that. Obviously, people still smoke in jail, as you will know, because it's just now become a valuable commodity. There's burn barons selling tobacco or whatever. However, the healthcare became no smoking first, and at first thought it was a good idea because when you go in cells, it smells exactly.
Cruelty.
On the healthcare, people who were mentally unwell, mental illness, a lot of smokers had come on there.
That's cruel. Cruelty personified, that would be.
Well, it was because it was classed as a hospital building because health authority paid for the staff.
It would be. To me, that would be cruel.
Well,
it's the way it is, but it's still cruel because all they'll have on their mind is a sick, and it would just ruin.
It caused there was a lot of restraints and kick-offs because there were no tobacco.
What do they do now? Do they have them inhaler things?
Everyone's still smoking, mate.
Oh.
Burn barons taking it in. They started giving people vapes, which you can use for charging mobile phones and everything. Spice as well. Most people are on spice. Well, most people are on it.
I've seen for people how vulnerable it makes them.
Oh, definitely. It's everywhere, spice. So you don't need tobacco like you used to to smoke it. They're just literally burning it and inhaling it or whatever on anything, clothes, paper.
Yeah.
But tobacco, I don't know how much it is now, but I know it's stupid price.
Yeah.
A single Rizzler were like £1.
I wouldn't do it. Well, I'm lucky that way. Anyway, I gets to me open jail, Lay Hill I had to go to, which is down Devon. That was alright there. It was alright. Anyway, I got in with a cleaner. He was a lifer. He'd done 22 years life. You might all know him. He's done the 36 year. He's a Scottish, so he'll know who he is.
Will I?
Yeah. I won't say his name.
Yeah.
But we got on. So, anyway, he had an heart attack. Yeah. And he was in Southmead in Bristol. That's the hospital he went to.
Yep.
And he got talking to this woman who, her dad had an heart attack. Yeah. Who was going to end up becoming my future wife without me knowing about it.
Really?
Yeah. So, yeah. So, anyway, he gets back and I'm working in Lay Hill to get my home leaves. But obviously I couldn't go to Manchester to have my home leaves because you just do them for a day. So I had to go to Bristol to do these home leaves. So I'm doing me weekly visits to Bristol. You know, walking around Bristol on my own. Didn't have a clue where Bristol were. Yeah. Anyway, I'm heading for my next home leave was going to be in a probation hostel in Manchester.
Yep.
So Tony's talking to, he said, oh, this woman's doing my nutting. She keeps minding me, wanting to come and visit me, wanting this, wanting that. I said, well, I'm going on my home leave next week. Give me a number and I'll ring her. So I rung her. And we just hit it off. And for next 6-7 weeks we was talking. I was on the phone. I went and bought a phone. I was on the phone for 4 hours chatting to her on my home leave. And I think after about the third home leave, she said, oh, I'll come see you. So she came all the way from Bristol to Manchester.
Yep. That is a good hike.
Yeah, 3 hours in a car. Yeah. And we stayed over. I got permission to sleep at my brother's. We stayed over. It was good. And then they decided that I was getting released. So obviously I'm still talking to this woman, Emma, my wife, who turned out to be my wife. I remember the first time she came to Manchester, she got off the train at Manchester and I saw her walking towards me and I thought, Jesus, she's fit. I'm going to marry her, and I did. 6 months later.
Jesus, she's fit.
I'm going to marry her. And I did. It didn't last, but we still talk, we still get in touch, we still converse. But it didn't work out, but because of the skills that I'd learned in Lay Hill,
yep,
I managed to
sounds posh. No, that's good. That
yeah.
That
so we're still talking. I still have regrets, but it just didn't work. And it weren't because of drugs; it was because of alcohol. She likes a bottle of wine, and
yeah.
I was trying to keep up with the drinking, but I can't do it. Drinking.
You're not good on booze.
No. So I was with her for 5 years, and then we got divorced. And I moved back to Manchester, and that's where I've been ever since. I found out where my son lived. I went seeing him. Things didn't work out.
Is that with the missus, ex-missus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things didn't work out because she was stirring the pot. So anyway, I ended up where I just see my granddaughter now and my son's ex-partner, who I get on great with. And that's where I'm at now, basically. I don't think that's took an hour though, has it?
It don't matter, mate. It don't matter. So
I'm in a good place now at the minute.
When you look back now, we've talked about victims. A lot of, other than one guy that you regret, a lot of trouble sort of come to your door. Did it not?
Yeah.
The drug things now, I think I look at it different. There are people who are going to use, irrespective of who they buy the drugs off or whatever, aren't they?
Yeah.
How do we deal with that?
Well, you can't until they actually decide themselves that they want to stop. You can't.
I mean, how far back would you have to go before these people become addicts? Because a lot of people, it's childhood trauma and stuff like that, isn't it?
Well, I can't even blame that because I don't know why I'm blaming childhood trauma.
Can you remember the first time you used heroin?
Yeah, in Strangeways. 1981, when I got padded up with some guy who come back from court, rubbing his hands when they shut the door, and he pulled out a lump of heroin and said, "Do I want some?" And then threw me on bed and said, "Don't go out the cell, I'll bring it right on top." Because I weren't used to it.
Did you smoke it?
Yeah. And he don't forget, in them days, heroin was frowned upon. I would have been fighting people on the wing if they knew I'd
Yeah,
took
just
that
explain that. You had it when I was on young offenders. Yeah, weed's fine and that heroin. We only ever had one lad come on. We had to leave him locked behind his door all night and put him on an adult wing the following day because they were all threatening him.
Because he was on heroin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't like it. But now it's rife, isn't it? It's rife.
I think heroin, coke, and a lot are more prevalent than people would believe. I've had people message me and say, this when you're going on about drugs and that in the community and everyone's using them, that's rubbish. I say it's not. It is.
Put it this way, you won't have got hold of a £20 note without there being cocaine on it. Nobody will have held a £20 note that's not in circulation that won't have cocaine on it. That's why a lot of the dogs sit down in Strangeways when people have handled money and they've not touched drugs.
Yeah.
And they say, "Well, I'm not even cocaine off the money." So people would started washing their hands.
How would you, if somebody put you in power, deal with a drug situation?
Well, I'd legalise it, give them on prescription, but only so much. But they would have to conform to not commit crime, and if they committed crime, then they got took off the free programme.
Would you go into schools to try and educate kids? Because I think kids have no idea.
Yeah, you'd have to go into schools and say, look, if you ever get offered drugs, say no. Because it's a life you'll lead that you'll end up regretting for the rest of your life. No life on drugs. No life. You know, put it this way: if I've had hundreds of thousands of pounds over the years.
Yeah.
If I'd have used as much energy in making money, I could have afforded a row of houses with the money I've spent on drugs. I became a very, very good businessman, but on the opposite side of the law. But I made hundreds of thousands of pounds.
And you're not seeing no for it?
No, only a bloody bad circulation.
Yeah.
Talking of circulation, I'm dying for a week. I do apologise.
No, Tony, I've got some questions for you, not now.
Yeah, you're doing another question?
Yeah, we'll look up. I'm going to go back and revisit your story and then come back with some questions, mate.
Okay.
And we'll do another edition, yeah?
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks for your time,
And
mate.
I hope I didn't bore everyone today.
No, Tony, a few shockers there. Tony Wilson.